And talking a little bit more about women in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you saw, I know that you saw, because I saw you commented on Natalie Ribeiro's post and then Fionn Davis' post. And I loved your comment about how, women are not getting the recognition that they deserve in the sport. And we're talking about equal pay. We're talking about greater opportunities like Medusa, other events like this. So I would love to, get a little bit more about your opinion on this and what would you like to see happening. And also, what can we do to continue to support you guys, the women who are out there representing us as a community, the fighters, the athletes. How can we as women come together even more and really support you guys?
Yeah, no, and I think that like and this is like and I the first thing I said after I won Medusa was I immediately went up to Eddie and said, "Thank you for giving like women a platform to even do this." Because I think that like I mean, no, the pay isn't equal boys to girls, but I mean, he's also one of the only events that had the same exact like we had our own night, we had the same amount of participants, I felt like it was the same exact show, you know what I mean? Like it felt the exact same to me, as opposed to like some of the other ones. It's just like Fiona mentioned, it just seems like either a forgotten about or the sideshow. And I think that part of that really has comes down to, if you have the ability, certain organizations, if they have the ability to do features on people, and we're trying to make this a spectator friendly sport, you have to give the spectators people to get behind, and you do that by featuring them. Like you're never going to like it's just very hard to get, if you don't know how phenomenal, you know like Bia Basio is, or you don't know how crazy, I mean, there's just so many examples of like crazy women in this, amazingly talented women in this sport that have done like just mind-boggling grappling matches that are never shown. And if you never see them, then you're never excited to see them in the future. So I definitely think that just like featuring them, and I mean, and I'm just gonna objectively say it. Like, I mean, at Worlds this year, at IBJJF Worlds this year, at the Gi Worlds, they did this really beautiful tribute to like past winners, and just like a quick little like 10-minute video of like very old videos and things like that, and modern videos, and it was beautiful. And I think there might have been like, I think maybe Kira Gracie for one shot of that 10 minutes, and there must have been 5 dozen men shown. Like just it was like, I mean, you wouldn't even, like based on that, you wouldn't think that women do the sport. Like if you were a spectator watching some of these things, you wouldn't even know that women do the sport, like in a way that's just like, I mean, I understand that there's a lot of we do have a difference in like the amount of women and men that do the sport. I get that. But you're also that's a like self-fulfilling prophecy if you never encourage women to do it, if you never showcase women doing it. If you can't see it, you can't be it.
I agree with you. So a couple of comments there. You mentioned the whole ordeal with at IBJJF with Kira Gracie. She's amazing and we love her. She's a
Oh
trailblazer.
yeah.
If it wasn't for women like her, maybe we wouldn't be here today. But she's not the current competitor. She's not who's competing right now. And I feel like, women's jiu-jitsu has evolved so much. We look from, even 10 years ago, the level that we see nowadays. I was blown away at Medusa, just watching, you compete and the other ladies compete. And then also the girls that were at EBI. And it's a completely different ball game. Like you said, I think it's just as exciting, if not more exciting than the men. I feel like women are more explosive. It's more fast paced. It really, I mean, the audience everybody was on their feet cheering for our ladies. How do we get more sponsors involved?
I think, I mean, that's a good question. And I don't know why the boys would be getting more than the girls. And I don't necessarily, I
Right.
don't know exactly,
I
I don't
think
know if they,
They do. And I think obviously they've been doing it longer. I guess the argument is that they get a larger audience, which maybe it was true a few years ago, but the tides are changing. Like things are turning. It's different now. You see, just like you mentioned, I agree with you. I feel like we had the same amount of people for Medusa.
Yeah.
And just seeing from the magazine and things like that, like how much it's growing, the audience has been growing. There's a lot of men who are watching and they love watching women's jiu-jitsu and they support and they find it just as exciting as watching the men. So I think it's really a matter of these events, sponsors, not just for the
Right.
athletes, but sponsors for the events, because the men's, they get so many sponsors. So they get money, they get big buckets of money so they can give out those cash prizes, where for the women, the sponsors are simply not turning out.
And I think, and I completely agree with you. And one of the people, as it relates to that, like one of the just somebody who's like, pretty regularly does commentating, and then somebody who does like works for a jiu-jitsu specific magazine. They were saying that as they were starting to write up their, to get ready for their event that they were either commentating or writing the article on, they didn't have content to go back to. So it just becomes this self-perpetuating cycle, right? Like they can't speak intelligently about how exciting this person is because nobody originally did the feature on them, because there wasn't an, you know what I mean? And it's like, if you just start somewhere, like, I mean, even to the effect of like, and I hate to like, IBJJF has done a lot for the sport. They are undeniably like they're the flagship of what the sport is. So I absolutely, but I mean, the fact that like we're only doing the women's finals matches on the finals day and not the semis, like, why not move the quarters of the boys to the day before and have semis for women and men on the second day? Or like, so that way we'd have more, because part of the reason is that you have commentate, you have, they have dedicated commentary for all of the matches on the finals day. So you would double the amount of matches that the women's would, more than that, because you'd have, two semis matches and a finals match. So you triple the amount of matches that get dedicated coverage. And obviously the majority of the time, the semis are way more exciting because, you by the time you get to the finals, you're so scared, or, a lot of people are really reluctant to lose. So like, I just feel like that would be something else that they could do in order to get like better coverage, in order to get more sponsors, in order to get more, yeah. I definitely think that the Medusa event was one of the, it almost felt weird how it felt like it was the same as the boys.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something that I heard when I was talking to Eddie and Victor, and I heard from both of them, and they were saying, we do not differentiate. We use the same setup, the same production team, the same budget, everything how we set up. It's the same stage, the same location, same marketing, hands down. And I love that. And I myself, I thank them for that. I was like, thank you. That's exactly what we need. We're not asking for special treatment. We're just asking for equal treatment.
Exactly.
Want the same opportunities. So I love that. And I think that's a great idea. It's something that I think we do need to be more vocal about it, especially you, because you have that perspective of being an athlete and you're feeling this in your skin. You're going through these events, these competitions. We need to be more vocal about it, of the things that we want and that we need and the things that are fair. So I think putting it out there and educating the women that perhaps are just watching, and they don't know how to support. How can we support more of our female athletes? I think, following on social, promoting, sharing. Everybody knows who Gordon Ryan is. That's wonderful. He's amazing. But it's like, I saw a post on the women's grappling page. Yeah, everybody knows who these guys is, but what about the girls? Do you know the women? Do you know your top women competitors who are out there? Do you know their names? Do you follow them on social? Do you share their content? Do you watch their videos? Do you buy their tutorials? When they do seminars, do you attend? I think that's important. I think we need to start doing that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think, I couldn't have said it better myself.